welcome into Chasing the Game. I am Chase Bachman. Dan Cummins is here. Dan, you are the Sports Director Emeritus of WTOL 11. Dan, it's 45 years now that you have been at Channel 11. Is it crazy to think about?
Yeah, I came to Toledo as a young 26-year-old guy in 1980, and here we are all these years later, and I'm not ready to retire just quite yet. But it's nice we get this all on record right now. So
yeah.
For my obituary, when you want to run it down the road in a few years.
Well, hopefully that's many, many years away. How crazy was it being that age, you know, going to a place you had never been before in Toledo? How did you even get to Toledo? Kind of take me there.
Well, I went to Illinois State University in the early 70s, mid 70s, and then I got a job in Peoria, which was around my home area, a small town north of Peoria. So I started there. I was applying for jobs, and I just lucked out. I got a production job at the ABC station in Peoria. And I was working at production and I was a news camera guy, a news photog. I would go out with reporters and shoot their stories, and I would edit their stories for them for air. And then about, I don't know, 6, 8, 9 months into that job, then the weekend sports job opened up there, and I applied for it, and I got it. Now I had done sports in college at ISU, but I also had done news anchoring. Because you know, going to school for this stuff, you get to do a little bit of everything, news producing, everything. Was I always want to be a sportscaster? Maybe, yeah, maybe. But it just turned out that's what I went into, and I did enjoy it, and had a really nice run. So a friend of mine who had worked with me in Peoria came here as assistant news director in 1979. Steve Fiorina was his name, and then he gave me a call and said, hey, we have a sports opening out here, weekend sports, because Oris Tabner's our sports director, and come on out here, and if you'd like to apply for the job. So I did, and I got the job, and they flew me out to Toledo, and I got to see my first sights driving the backseat of a car after having flown into Toledo Express Airport. And yeah, so they offered me the job. I came out here and I started in August of '80. So in August, I'll be hitting 45 years at TOL.
How intimidating was that the first time you met Oris Tabner? I mean, was he jovial? Was he, I mean, what was he like?
Oris Tabner is the funniest man I've ever worked with. He always had a twinkle in his eye, always smiling, rarely saw him mad. He always, even after he retired, before he passed away, he'd walk in here in the station and, Dan'l, he called me Dan'l. Dan'l, I got a good one for you. What do you get when you get a da-da-da-da-da? And usually they were very profane. If I don't remember them now, but had I remembered them, I couldn't repeat them on TV. But he's also a very, very easygoing man. Captain Casual was our nickname for him. He was just so easygoing. Back in the day when you could smoke indoors, he would sit there with feet propped up smoking his pipe. And then once in a while, he and Jeff Heitz would smoke their cigars in the newsroom. Of course, I'm glad those days are long gone.
Yeah. How was that being a part of, I mean, really legendary broadcast? You had Oris Tabner, you had Jeff Heitz,
And Charlie Umpenauer was doing the weather, and then we had the weekend crew. But it was great because Bob Lawrence was here. A lot of wonderful people that went on to bigger things. Bob went on to San Diego, as did Steve Fiorina. He retired a few years ago. So these people have gone on to big markets. And Jill Olmstead was a co-anchor. She went on to work in Washington and then got out of the business. A lot of people do get out of the business because the hours, the weekends, the holidays, things like that, the pay had not been that great, and so people sometimes would change direction in their lives. Was there ever a timeline where you maybe got to that point where you thought that you were ever going to get out, or was this always, without a doubt, the place that you were going to be? Out of Toledo?
Out of Toledo, out of the business?
Let's see, probably about the mid-'80s. I'd been in Toledo like 4, 5, 6 years, and I was wanting to, back in that time, my goal was to go to a larger market and cover big league sports. And I applied for a job. I got an interview down in Cincinnati, didn't get it. I wasn't ready for it. And I don't know if I ever would have been ready for that, because looking back on it now, the best thing ever happened to me was staying here, because I was able to stay here for a long time, get roots, appreciate the joy of living here. I don't like the winter, by the way, but you all know that. But this is a wonderful place to live, to raise a family, to work. And of course, WTOL has been so good to me. It's first class, it always has been. And I owe a lot of my life and my happiness to WTOL. It's the greatest station in Toledo. And you know, in our business, we get a lot of people will come and go in television, people on their way up, or maybe they'll get out of the business. I will tell you that I have learned from this, there are a lot of bad TV stations to work for, a lot of awful TV stations to work for. This ain't one of them. This has been a wonderful place, and the people are great. And at this point, I would have to say the people I'm working with right now, I've never really enjoyed being with people more. They're just wonderful folks, hardworking, good attitude, fun. I love coming to work every day.
How much has it evolved, just the actual work itself, from the early 80s when you were here? Because it went from reading baseball scores. I've seen some of those old newscasts with Oris Tabner. You know, you're reading baseball scores, and then maybe WXYZ in Detroit sends you like Tigers highlights. But it's changed so much in like what you guys do. Yeah,
I remember I was watching when Len Barker pitched a perfect game, is it, back in the early 80s for the Indians. I was watching I'm not even sure it was on TV then, but we saw by the ticker it was a perfect game. And back in the day, you'd have to wait for the network news feed. It's not, now you can record the game yourself. You get feeds throughout the night continually on not even by a broadcast, but we would wait for these late highlights and turn them. It's just, the biggest change, of course, is computers. Now you talked about scores. We would type up the scores on a piece of paper, type them up on a piece of paper, and the camera would then get a shot of the scoreboard and scroll down. That's how we showed scores back in even the 80s and the 70s. And so eventually we got the Chiron and all this other high-fangled stuff. And of course, we would type scripts on multi-layers of paper with, you know, rip them off. And now it's just type them up and go. Everything's so much easier now. Was the change, was the adaptation, because you've gone through so many types of technology, like you said, you went from the paper to Chiron to, the set has changed so much. Look, when I started, we couldn't do live shots. I mean, my first job in Peoria, we were shooting film. My first job was actually a film editor. We would shoot 16mm news film, bring it back, edit it, or process it, edit it, by hand. And then in time, before I left Peoria, we got some ENG, electronic news gathering equipment. Still no live capability in Peoria. Came here, wow, this is big time. AAA TV, AAA baseball. We've got 2 Major League football programs, Ohio State, Michigan, BG, Toledo, all here. It was wonderful. For a sports guy, it was fantastic. And now, you know, they were doing lives in Toledo. Then I did my first satellite live, was covering Nate Thurmond getting inducted in the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. We rented a satellite truck out in Massachusetts. That was my first time doing it. And by now, we're not even doing satellite lives. We just do them off of a little backpack, live unit. As long as you have cell phone service now, you can do a live from anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world. Yeah, now you can do it with cell phones. What's that like, kind of some of the historic moments that you've been a part of, like Nate Thurmond, Hall of Fame, Michigan, Ohio State? Are any of those stick out to you as you kind of look back through the years? One of my top moments in my life is being on top of the CBS News building, doing a live shot at 11 o'clock on a Saturday night when Charles Woodson had won the Heisman Trophy. We had covered him here at Fremont High School. We covered him at Michigan. And I told our news director, I really think he can, I know it's rare, he can win the Heisman Trophy. So the news director said, make me a budget, we'll check it out. They let me go. So I went with Eric Haubert. He was my camera guy. We go to New York for a day. We flew in that morning, shot the Heisman Trophy ceremony, and then Bruce Matty, never forget the favor, he was the sports information director. He let me interview Charles Woodson first before national media because I was local media. And you know, it's just something I'll always be grateful for, being around that. That was really cool. Being around the World Series, 1984, the Tigers beat the Padres in a just dramatic fashion. It was just so exciting. Yeah, and college football. I can keep going. Sure. No, keep going, please. College football. The Buckeyes winning some national championships. I was there when they won the overtime game over Miami in 2003, January 2003, and when they beat Alabama in the Sugar Bowl on the way to winning the championship in what, 20?
I think that was 2015. Yeah.
15?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is it? Would you have imagined that you would have embraced Ohio sports kind of the way you have, the Buckeyes, the Browns?
Not a clue.
How did that happen?
As a kid growing up in a small town in central Illinois, never would have dreamed. When I was in college, I was covering the Illinois State football team, and on Saturdays we'd be, up in the press box. It'd be halftime, and they'd have a TV up there. Technology is so much different now. There'd be a TV on where they're showing Ohio State and Michigan. And I would we all were interested because usually they were both top 5 in the country contending for the championship. And here I was covering a 1AA level Illinois State University. And so it was really cool to see that. And then I come out here for the job interview oh, we cover Ohio State? Oh, we cover Michigan? There were times before we had a 6 o'clock news on weekends, we just had an 11. I would go to Michigan. I'd go to Ann Arbor and shoot the Michigan football game.
Yeah, and they were always at noon or 3 or whatever. Yeah. It was so easy to kind of turn stuff back in the day. At least I imagine it would be.
Yeah, for sure.
So, compared to some of the crazy deadlines, you have stuff, starts at 8 o'clock now, the college football playoff, and you're running right up against that 11 o'clock.
Yeah, some of these bowl games, they start at 8:30, and if you do send a crew out there to the game, spend the money to cover the game. Mm-hmm. You can't even do a story at 11 o'clock because the game is still going.
Right.
Showing highlights.
I want to take it back to this bit that you would always do, the Diet Coke. Are you aware about this, that you would always drink this Diet? Where did that come? What is this about?
Okay, so Dave Letterman came on CBS around 90.
I think this would have been 92, maybe?
92. And at the time, Oris was on the way to retiring. So they decided, I'm a younger guy, right? I'm a younger guy. We want you to anchor this 11 o'clock sports and help Oris produce the weekday sports at 6 o'clock. So we want to get a hipper type look, right? So Letterman was doing these kind of bits. And so they suggested, why don't you do some of these funny bits? And that's my personality. That is me anyway. So I would go out and do these bits where I would be sitting on the set and Jeff would say something to me like, oh, God, I forgot something. He'd go, like what? I go, I need to be somewhere. He goes, you can't leave. We're doing. I'll be right back. I take the mic off and I would run off set. Then we hit a pre-taped thing where every step was pre-planned. I run off the set, you get a shot of me going down the hall, and then I run back to a mirror and give it that, check my hair. Then I'm peeling out of the garage. Mm-hmm. Then I go to this location and I do some shtick. One night, Heights came with me. There was a vision of Woody Hayes on a oil tanker over in East Toledo. And he had a little tear in his eye. That was the vision. We kind of recreated the vision that they had lost at Penn State last week, and so it looked good with Michigan coming up. A whole bunch of different ideas. One time, a buddy of mine worked at Davis College, and he was a good close friend of mine. And we went to his office, and they actually had some schematics, some plans to build an addition to Davis College. So we rigged it up that on April 1st, are you with me, April 1st?
Yeah.
He's going on the shtick about how Davis College is going to build a huge basketball arena, and they're going to apply for the Big Ten, to be a basketball team in the Big Ten. And as he looks me in the eye and he goes, Dan, I think if we build it, they will come. And the true thing was, there actually was an Owens College basketball. I'm sorry, I'm saying Owens. It's Davis College.
Yeah.
Davis. Yeah. Davis College had a basketball team back in the 40s, 50s, whatever it was. So Davis, it was Davis College, but it was so much fun. Just a lot of funny shtick. And so, I got to get going. So I'd run off, and I always stopped at a carryout somewhere. I would always go in the carryout, open a Diet. I love Diet Coke, by the way. I would take a sip of Diet Coke, put the cap back on, put it back in the cooler, and walk away. Now, of course, I really paid for it.
Yeah.
But we'd get occasional phone calls from people that couldn't suspend belief, and
they think if they go to that convenience store right now, they're going to find a Coke somewhere that's half drank.
So then we had to start a thing where every time I did it, I was with Jeff or Chris, and I'd turn around from the cooler and they go. And then the first time I did it with Jeff, I pulled out my wallet and I got no money. And then Jeff pays for it and puts the money down and gives me a look. So we had a lot of fun with that.
I love that. What was that like being a part of that generation with the Chris Petersons, the Robert Shields, those guys? Because really, when I'm thinking about me watching news growing up, you guys are my childhood. And the way that I grew up, you were sports, Chris was news, you know.
Very good at what we do, and crazy. Jeff, the straight man, but Jeff, the person, still very straight, but a lot of fun to be around. Chris, a little crazy too. I'm very crazy. A lot of fun. Shields, I mean, there's no way of measuring the craziness of Robert Shields. He is a lot of fun. Wow, yeah.
Yeah, and I look at some of those old clips of Robert, and he's got the great hair. Still has great hair.
One fun, something that never got any kind of traction whatsoever.
Yeah.
Another year of April Fools. Robert, it was the 10 o'clock newscast, and it was my idea. I said, hey, what would you think about you doing the sports tonight? I do the weather. You just dumb it down for me. Yeah. I write the sports for you, and we do it like that's how we always do it. Mm-hmm. So like the sports came on, Robert read the sports that I wrote for him, and then he had planned the graphics. So like, you know, I'm at this graphic like, hey, da-da-da, here's forecast, blah, 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 and then wrap it up, and that's the weather. And we did it as if it was supposed to happen that way. Yeah. No one said a word in the station. No one noticed it. No one.
And you didn't go to them beforehand to tell them, hey, no, this is what we're going to do.
On our own, we did it on our own.
And nobody said anything.
One funny thing, too, we did years ago with Joe Richnowski on April Fools. Yeah. We did, big board chess. We created a classical music theme.
Okay.
And the same voiceover.
Yeah.
And now, big board chess with Dan Cummins.
Yeah.
And I'd come out, and I'm wearing a tuxedo, and we actually showed chess highlights. We found chess clubs around the area, and we did some highlights and got a few interviews, and just had a lot of fun with it. And then, like toward the end, then Joe Richnowski comes walking out in a suit with the towel over his arm, with a glass of champagne.
He's like a waiter, yeah.
And thank you, sir. Cheers. Good night. And it was just a shtick we did. It was like about 8-10 minutes long. And you know, we hardly got any. This is before the internet, the intro web, and no reaction whatsoever. But we got a few complaints that we were making fun of chess, which we were not. Not in the least.
No, you're giving chess some spotlight. That's great.
Giving them some love. But we showed a replay. You know, the rook. You know,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Checkmate. Yeah. Oh my God. See, that's amazing. That's the kind of shtick that I wish that we could have. Like, I don't feel like we ever would have thought of something like that. That's something that we absolutely need to bring back in today's day and age. I wish that we would do something like that. So we might have to. We might have to bring that back.
One time, you couldn't show highlights of a big game. I couldn't tell you what game it was. The game was going to be running over, so I wanted to show some highlights. And so, you know that board game where it vibrates and the little football players move around?
Yeah, a little electronic, yeah.
I shot highlights of football game, and here's a recreation, and so-and-so, and here's, you know, Walter Payton running around the end for a touchdown.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, some of the stuff, like the things that people will do, like creatively to try to get around.
Everyone's so serious now.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. We need to bring that sort of stuff back. Like, we need moments like that. We need like you drinking a Diet Coke or big board chess, or you getting a tattoo or something. Like, we need more moments like that. So
it's just TV, right?
Right. It's just TV. Gosh, after all these, is there anything maybe more, enriching than Honor Flight? I've been meaning to ask you about that too. Where did that start?
So, I had been filling in, doing some news on Fox. I thought I should expand myself. I was a little concerned about my future, because sometimes you don't know how sports is going to go, because sometimes it gets trimmed back, cut, whatever. I want to make sure I was, very important to the newsroom, so I offered to start filling in to do news. Started filling in to do news in maybe 2015, 2016. And I was really enjoying it while I was doing sports, but doing the news on Fox in one of the early shows. And then Honor Flight in 2017 was looking to get more coverage. They were in Findlay. The other one in Toledo had closed down in 2010, I think. And Findlay had been around since 2010. So it's 2017, and they're looking for more coverage, more exposure. So they came in here and talked to our news director and said, hey, is it possible, would you like to send a news reporter on Honor Flight in June, come along, cover it, and then do stories on it? And news director knew that I have a huge passion for military. That's all I've read. I just read military books, military history, memoirs, biographies, the whole thing.
Yeah.
So he offered me the chance to go. So I went, and they were happy with the coverage. TOL was happy with the coverage. I had a blast. It's such a great, fulfilling day to do. And then I went back to Honor Flight, and I said, if you'd let me take a camera person along with me, I can do stories throughout the day. We could do live shots from DC. And they said, yeah. So since then, it's been myself and a camera person. So we go and we're live at the morning from the terminal. We're live at noon, 4, 5, 6. We're doing hits, and then 10 and 11 for the homecoming. So that worked out really well. So it just got bigger and bigger, and it's just been a wonderful experience. I'm very, very good friends with a lot of people on our flight, and yeah, it's been wonderful.
Yeah, and those people have such incredible stories. I mean, every single time, I think there's no way you'll be able to get another great story, and these veterans keep coming up that you find these great stories.
I could go on and on with some stories from things that they've said and things that we've done, and yeah, that was so much fun, is getting to meet all these wonderful heroes and being a part of Honor Flight now.
Yeah, you mentioned something earlier, that transition from sports to news. Was that a pretty clear
yeah,
choice?
Listen, I'm in my 60s, my early 60s, and I'm getting to be, it's kind of like, you don't like being on those cold sidelines in the fall, chasing high school basketball on a winter night. I just was getting to where I just was burned out. I've been covering sports for so long. And I'd been doing news, and I finally asked them, I said, how do you feel about me getting out of sports and becoming a news anchor? And then Jordan was became a sports director after me. I groomed him, great guy, does wonderful work. And they said, yeah, if you'd like to. And so here I am. I've been doing news since, well, full-time now, since 2018, 2019, I believe it is.
2018. I remember this, and I'm dating myself here. I was interning in 2018, and I remember where we were at the MAC Media Days in July of 2018.
Yeah.
You remember this story.
I remember it very
and
well.
I remember you telling, I think, the coach at the time, BG, hey, I'm making the transition from sports to
Best thing
news.
I ever did.
Yeah.
Best thing
I was shocked at the time. I couldn't believe it.
Never been happier. I love doing news. It's allowed me to branch into not just veteran stories, but also farming stories. I love doing ag stories. So it gives me plenty of things that can pursue my interest, and I'm really having a great time doing that. Yeah.
Is it weird being, in news when people perceive you as the sports guy? Because I still think of you as the sports guy.
Still happens. I go to the grocery store and I get two questions. Hey, there's a sports guy.
Yeah.
What's new in sports? Or B, hey, how you liking retirement? And I go, I'm not retired. They go, well, I don't watch the news.
Right. That's the other thing.
But some people actually, hey, there's a newsman. Look, it's hard to. I've been here 45 years, and I was sports guy for 40 of them, so that's okay. It's just nice for people to still watch Channel 11 and know who I am, right?
Yeah, exactly. What does retirement look like for you? Since you mentioned it earlier, what is retirement going to be like for Dan?
I'd like to retire probably in about a year and a half. That will surpass 50 years in television, because I started, my first job was in April of '76.
Yeah.
So I would like to do that, and then I just don't know. My wife will not move away from the grandkids, so I'll be here in the winter, but we'll vacation a lot in the winter. Like to vacation a lot in the winter.
I know, you love those vacations.
Did I mention I like to vacation in the winter?
You like to be in the warm weather, Dan.
Yeah. I've told her I don't want to see snow ever again, but that's not going to happen. We'll be here off and on throughout it. But like I say, Toledo's a wonderful place to live. I got great friends here, and hopefully never get sick of me.
I don't think we'll ever get sick of you, Dan. I appreciate you so much for doing this. You're so awesome. I've just looked up for you for a long time, and you are sports in Toledo, sports news in Toledo.
Thank you. You're a good man.
Thank you. Appreciate it, Dan. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up this first episode of Chasing the Game. We'll be back with more.